The time is now 6 p.m. I will call the 14th meeting of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland to order on Monday, July 22nd. Mr. Mayor, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Simmons.
Here.
Councilwoman Johnson.
Here.
Councilman Mills.
Here.
Councilwoman Clerk.
Here.
President Kole.
Here.
Mayor Sydnor.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Agenda item number 4, approval of the minutes from May 28th, 2024 regular meeting, June 5th, 2024 work session, June 10th, 2024 regular meeting, July 1st, 2024 Ward 1 Council vacancy interviews, July 3rd, 2024 work session, July 8th, 2024 regular meeting. Are there any additions or subtractions from the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion, and do I have a second?
I second.
Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilman Mills.
Yes.
Councilwoman Clark.
Yes.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
Councilman Simmons.
Yes.
Councilwoman Johnson.
Yes.
President Kole.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Agenda item number 5, the report of the Mayor and City Council. We will start this evening with Mr. Mills.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. I would like to begin my report. It's a short report, and I was invited by the mayor to lead up the Safe Summer Night on this past Saturday, and that was from at the Armory from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we had quite a few children there that participated in the Safe Summer Night, and we did a poll, not a toll. We taxed the kids, yeah. We asked them if they, really needed what was given, and that was a safe place to come out. Not just some of the kids were looking for electrical games, and but it wasn't about that. It's about getting away, putting those electric games down, coming out, and making a new friend, actually. And they had a very good time. I had a great time. I mean, yes, and got some exercise in that was greatly needed. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll be there participating in all the rest of the summer nights, and that is my report. Oh, I and just to add, on July 23rd, Tuesday, July 23rd, Touch a Truck. And that is going to be at the Emancipation Park, 520 8th Street, Tuesday, July 23rd, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Councilwoman Clark?
Thank you, Mr. President. I also have a shorter report. I also attended the Safe Summer Night program. Thank you to Mayor Sydnor for starting that program. When I was a resident, I helped to support that program for him to start it. And even at that time when we started just with young men, then he branched out to young women. It was just touching to be able to see and to know that where the kids were and to know that they were okay. And I'm glad to see that program continuing. I wanted to just take a look and see what the statistics were in the Maryland County, in Maryland. And it says in Laurel, Maryland, that the juvenile crime rates have shown some concerning trends, especially during the summer months regarding the statewide data. It said that between fiscal years 2021 and 2023, gun violations among juveniles increased by 220%, carjacking spiked by 85%, and auto theft complaints rose by 65%. And these statistics highlight the importance of holding safe summer nights and other structured supervised activities for children and teens. These programs can help reduce their exposure to potentially dangerous situations and offer positive alternatives that contribute to their safety and well-being. So I'm really proud to support the program that the mayor is hosting. In addition to that, I also took time to stop by our USPS office to talk to the staff in regards to some recent mail thefts and just understand what they're dealing with as well. They mentioned that they were having robberies of their main keys, and I wasn't aware of that either. So it's good to understand the information from their perspective. And I also have had communication with a few residents as we have rain going on, a lot of leaky roofs in the condominiums, and just trying to help support that as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Johnson.
Good evening. Just want to share my report briefly too. I think we all were affected by Safe Summer Nights, so that was a good thing. I just wanted to share too that I was able to attend 3 times. There were some really, really fun activities. Just wanted to highlight a few because, like Councilman Mills said, I think the council members had as much fun as the kids did. Because first night there was bubble bowls. You physically get into a plastic bowl. They made donuts and candle making, but they also taught the children about money and investing, and literally downloaded an investment app to their phones. You know, they had their phones on them, so they were able to download that investment app and see, you know, money growing. So that was great to be able to participate in that activity, in those activities. I wanted again to thank the mayor for continuing that program, and also to the organizations, because we really wouldn't be able to do it without them. It takes a lot of time and effort and commitment to do that, to enrich the lives of our young people. So I wanted to thank them for that. And let students know that there's still time to participate, so there are more days available to make sure they come out and enjoy themselves. And then lastly, last Thursday, July 18th, there was a quarterly Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting where we listened to the concerns of the citizens. So some of the concerns that were discussed included car thefts, help for police through CERT, auxiliary police, or trained nonprofit volunteers. And then there were concerns about services such as the police and public works being able to keep up with the growth in the city, because we know there's a lot of development going on within the city. So I have reached out to different department heads to make sure that we get answers to the citizens for those questions, and that we provide them the updates as needed. And lastly, just looking forward to the upcoming National Night Out. Shout out to the LPD. That'll be on Tuesday, August the 6th at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. Couple things wanted to share with folks tonight. One, over the last couple of weeks, as I've gone to the Ragamuffins coffee shop on Main Street, which is great, by the way, run into folks from both the Laurel newspapers, the Voices of Laurel and the Laurel Independent, and just coincidentally ran into them. But this month, July, is one of those months where those newspapers both come out. One's quarterly, one's monthly. But it really occurred to me, too, that in today's day and age, when local coverage is pretty much disappearing, how special it is that we here in Laurel not only have one paper, but 2 papers. And I really want to give both of them a shout out and thank them for their work. Many of them are volunteers, and they also thrive on donations. So I want to encourage folks, number one, to read that and to even donate. If you're looking for links on my site, agentforlaurel.org, I have some links there direct to the paper if you want, and also to donate. But just wanted to celebrate that for our city too. I also had opportunity, I think it was last week, to be part of the Laurel Board of Trade's networking event, virtual networking, which was a lot of fun. If you are a small business in the city, certainly encourage you to reach out. The business networking nights, or business networking events rather, are free, so you don't have to be a member. Great way to meet other Laurel small businesses. Once you get in there, I'm almost sure you're going to find it's a great and supportive community, and you'll want to become a member, and you can get all the benefits that come with being a member. A couple of the folks I talked to during the session was Reshma from 1-800-Water Damage, Marcy from Crafty Creations, Jimmy from Attical, who does CFO services, Tawan from L Events, and Stephanie from Fish of Laurel, which is also behind Elizabeth House. So just want to give a hello to them. And lastly, as other members of council, I did sort of jump in midstream Friday night at Safe Summer Nights. And it was sort of good to be a part and to see the kids having a good time and to be out there. Sometimes it goes past my bedtime all the way to 10 p.m., but it is a great program. And as Councilwoman Johnson just said, there are still nights left, this coming weekend and thereafter. So you can go to the city's website, do a search for Safe Summer Nights and register so you can come out and enjoy. That's all.
Thank you, Councilmember. For my report, the week of July 15th was pretty busy. I worked for many hours with the city solicitor, the administration, and several state officials to review state legislation and its effective dates for forest conservation and how that will apply to the city of Laurel. Due to recent legislative changes in Annapolis, the effective dates were changed. They will not go into effect until July 1st, 2026. In 2025, new state guidelines will be issued and the council will work to update the city's code. On July 15th, I attended the Pride Committee meeting. Don't forget, this Saturday, July 27th, is Designer Bag Bingo at Partnership Hall at 6 p.m. Pride will also be hosting a drag brunch at Newsbacks on August 11th at 11 a.m. On July 16th, I attended the Planning Commission meeting. The Corridor Center project was tabled until the September 10th meeting so that the applicant could continue to make changes to their plans. On July 19th, I met with the Environmental Programs Manager to discuss the bid recommendation for condominium composting, and I thought that was a very productive meeting. I did want to make a special announcement that there is a special meeting of the Historic District Commission tomorrow night, July 23rd at 6 p.m. To consider an application. That concludes my report for this evening. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. I just want to, on July the 11th, I was the guest speaker. I want to thank Ms. Burton for inviting me there to speak to County Executive Alsobrook interns, and we were just talking about local government and state government as well. Also, this past weekend, I attended the Metropolitan Washington Council Government Leadership Retreat in Cambridge, Maryland. And the board is composed of elected officials from Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., Charles County, Montgomery County, and we talk about regional trends in the area. And the big trend was the metro. That was always the biggest trend we always talk about. But is public safety is a trend too. And they want to commend Chief Hamill, who's on the president of the police chief board there, and they comment you on all the good research you provide to the COG government. So I want to just thank you publicly for that as well. So they keep up the good work. Speaking of the Safe Summer Night, I just want to go back. This was an idea that I had my vision as I was a council member in 2022. And I want to give respect to Councilman McClock and Councilman Johnson, Councilman Mills as well, because one night was for boys, one night was for girls. And we did the boys, and Councilman Mills came out with his son. And then they said, we need something for the girls. And so I got Councilmember Johnson and Councilmember Clock at the time, who wasn't council members, but just regular folks in this community that want to support this program. And like Councilman Clock read out some stats that we know between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. during the summer breaks, our kids tend to get in trouble. And folks always say, what are we doing for the youth? What are we doing for the youth, right? So I figured as elected officials, let's try to do something in our city. And the goal is for all the municipalities throughout Prince George County to do something in their city as well. This is still a pilot program. We're still tweaking it out and everything. We noticed that we opened it up for the whole county, and the organizations that come there, we got volunteer organizations coming there to give our kids an education component piece of it, and then the rest of us having fun. And we're providing, some type of piece of something while they're in the building. Hopefully that, we get more citizens from the city of Laurel come out. But it's been a combination. The organizations have been bringing their kids out with them, and then some kids come from different parts. But it's just a pilot program. We'll look at it at the end of the summer, see how to proceed for next year. But it's definitely something that I think we wanted to do. But we want to get, the goal is to get the city of Laurel kids involved. But like I said, we'll look at it again at the end of this summer. But we still got nights available, so please come out. It's fun. It's educational, and it's something that's going to keep you safe, and it's really something very important that we all need in our community throughout, whether Prince George County or Washington, D.C. I got some announcements to make, Mr. President, been down and do a proclamation, then I'll conclude my report. As you always mentioned already, you got to touch a truck tomorrow if it don't rain from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Emancipation Park. That's a park. It's always a good thing to come out to see the various trucks, police cars, all kinds of fire trucks, things like that. Kids really enjoy those type of things. It also give kids an idea of what type of career they want to go in if you really look at it from that perspective. So kids get a chance to see these different professions out there. Also, July 24th at 6:30 to 8 p.m. If it doesn't rain, we have City Hall in the park at the Marcus Koubek Community Field. That's an overlooked townhouse community, so I know they're looking forward for us to come out there. They always have a lot of questions and very informed in the city. We mentioned the Safe Summer Night program again is this weekend, Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can register, like they mentioned earlier, you can register on the spot. So you can come there, 422 Montgomery Street. You come out to, we always mention this already as well, August 6th. That's when our Laurel Police host that Safe Summer Night. It's always a good event to come out there to learn about the police safety and just see the different vendors and the different fun we can have out there as well. So please come out. It's always a good place. And a couple of more things here. My time with the mayor will be August the 12th from 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Bachman Kaiser Public Safety Complex. And August 28th, City Hall in the Park at Granville Drive. So I know that's the Patuxent community. We're coming out there to talk to them as well. And September the 2nd, our office is closed for Labor Day. And all dog lovers out there on September the 7th at Greenview Drive Park is Doggy Dip Day. So bring out your dog. I know Park and Rec's going to be looking forward to that. I know Mr. Mills said he's going to bring his dog out this as well. So I'm going to go out and read this proclamation, and that'll conclude my report, Mr. President. Thank you. Whereas the National Night was established in 1981 by Matt Perskin of the National Association of Town Watch, which is a nonprofit crime prevention organization working in cooperation with thousands of crime watch groups, law enforcement agencies throughout the country. Whereas National Night Out, American Night Out Against Crime was introduced by the association in 1984 and always occur on the first Tuesday in August. Whereas the purpose of National Night Out is to inform the public about various police programs, community programs such as drug prevention, initiatives, and neighborhood watch groups that exist to keep people safe and fight crime in neighborhoods everywhere. Whereas the annual National Night Out Against Crime is a national-wide event designed to promote neighborhood safety, and was National Night Out Against Crime activities are designed to heighten the crime and drug prevention awareness, generate participation in local anti-crime programs, strengthen neighborhood spirit and community partnership, and send a message to criminals that neighborhoods are organized and fighting back. Whereas the focus of National Night Out is to allow the police department, the volunteer fire department, rescue squad to present demonstration activities for community. And therefore, I, Chief Sydnor Mayor City of Laurel, here claim August 6th as National Night Out. The Chief, we're looking forward to you and your police department and all the volunteers out there to put on a good show. And you said first as well.
Just trying to get us in the right spot. I keep moving, sorry, man. I'll just be real quick. I know that shocks everybody. Just encouraging everybody to come out. It's first Tuesday in August, National Night Out. The mayor touched on a lot of the programs we'll have going on. It's a great time. Plus, we give you hot dogs. Where else can you get a free meal? So please come on out. We're really, it's not just for kids, it's adults too. And we encourage you all to be there, and we'll have a great time together. Thank you.
That concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on, agenda item number 6, 4th of July Committee Acknowledgement. Chairwoman Carreen Koubek, you have the floor.
All right, it is the tradition of the 4th of July committee to come before mayor and city council and basically say thank you for your support. It's without Mayor Sydnor, Council President Kole, and the council members, we wouldn't have this event. So thank you all very much. I also want to thank the hardest working staff in the city, in the county, in the state, in the nation. And you all know who I'm talking about, you all. I also want to thank the first responders and our Laurel police officers, our Laurel Volunteer Fire Department, our Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad for their unwavering support of the celebration each and every year, especially this year with some changes that had to be made. But going into that, of course, the people standing over here, this is the committee. These are the people right here. So thank you. And this is a small sampling, but these are the ones that have helped us make this event happen every year. So if I could please get a round of applause. I need to point out also the fireworks chair, Eddie Souter, all of his hard work this year. Having to rework the fireworks, the location. I also would like to thank Tracy Kraus, as Mayor Sydnor was graciously did at the event. She is the co-chair and vendor chair, and over these last few years, she relocated to Florida, and she still comes up here. She is still a member of this committee. And she's been there over, I can't even say, I hope she's watching. She'll probably be throwing something at the TV, but it's been well over 20 years. 25 years, I'd say, because she started when one of her kids was like just months old. So, and of course, I have to thank one of our newest members who couldn't be here today, Nicola Tavares, who hit the ground running when she joined. She went visiting businesses and got us a banner sponsor from Delta Bingo and other donations and restaurant nights that the community was able to participate in. So we got a few new volunteers, and they have been a delight and a big help. So I'd like to thank them as well. I also need to thank James Agbai. He was not able, because of his WISE program, he was not able to be our DJ this year, but he donated nearly $1,000 worth of equipment to the company, to the committee, so that we could then train Brian Bain, who DJ'd this year during the parade. So I would like to say thank you, James, so much for supporting us that way and making sure. And he was there at a phone call when something wasn't going right. So thank you very much. I also need to give a big thank you to Sam's Club for donating over 10 cases of water, which came in real handy that day since it was so hot. And it helped us be able to hand out and keep our parade participants hydrated as they walked the route, because when they reached the judges' stand, we had cold water waiting for them. So thank you to Sam's Club. I also need to thank Meg Nemeth. She hates it when I do that. Meg Nemeth, who sang the national anthem beautifully. We have to thank for raising the American flag, American Legion Color Guard, and the Cub Scouts Pack 602 and 1250. Yes, for helping them raise the flag. Of course, our grand marshals for this year were the volunteers of the city. So in attendance as our grand marshals, we had members from the 4th of July Committee, Fish of Laurel, Laurel Amateur Radio Club, Laurel Mill Playhouse, Women's Club of Laurel, Laurel Board of Trade, the Laurel Volunteer Fire Department, Bernadette's House, Lars, Juneteenth Executive Committee, Zeta Phi Beta, and the Laurel Historical Society. So a big round of applause to all that they do to keep Laurel safe and entertained. Also, thanks to Oracle for their wonderful support with their music and being here every year to entertain the crowd. And of course, to our fireworks company, Fantastic Fireworks. So it was the last year contract with the fireworks, so we will be getting a request for proposal together, and we will be making sure that it comes before the mayor and city council probably within the next few months, okay? Finally, we have a meeting to get to because we are going to be sitting down and talking about next year's event, which is our 46th annual celebration, which will occur, mark your calendars, everyone, July 5th, 2025. So thank you all so much again for your support. Thank you all so much for everything, Public Works and the police and Parks and Rec, everybody, IT, everything that everybody did. Thank you all so much.
Before Before you all leave, we want to take a picture with the mayor and city council. I want to say a few words, though. Thank you for your service. You guys volunteer. People say this was the best parade they've seen, 4th of July, but it wasn't nothing that we did. It's all you guys. So thank you guys for making that happen for us, though. And we're here to support you as much as possible. So, we know we need members leaving your committee. So we want to get a big push. So anybody listen out there want to join the 4th of July committee, please, says Ms. Carreen Koubek. And for we can continue this tradition, been going for 46 years. We want to make it another 46 years. So thank you once again for all the volunteer you do for this city. This is on your free time, and you guys are organizing all year round to make this happen. And we really appreciate that on behalf of the mayor and the city council and the city citizen Laurel. We thank you. So we can take a group picture with you guys go before you go to your next meeting. Thank you so much. So council, let's go down.
Can you guys come in? That's great. Perfect. Now, what's the screen?
Nope, this is right. Mhm. And one last thing, the car show chair, Mike, was not able to be here tonight, but he gave me these little dog tags that he would like you all, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you very much to the 4th of July Committee. Moving on to agenda item number 7, general public hearing. Now is the time to hear from our community. We welcome your comments, which are very important to us. When your name is called, please go to the podium, speak into the microphone, and give your name and address of residence, not the address of a business or organization. Please address your comments to the council as a whole, not to individuals. This courtesy is appreciated. General comments are welcome for items not on the agenda. For individual agenda items, please sign up to speak for those agenda items. Each speaker tonight will be limited to 3 minutes. You may not donate your time to another speaker. The speaking limit time is currently under consideration from the council for future legislation and rules updates. Note that we will not be entering into dialogue at this time. The purpose of this agenda item is for you, the public, to inform us, the council, about your views. If you have specific factual questions or complaints that require more than the time limits, please check in with our city clerk or city administrator. They're seated on either side of the council and will be glad to assist you. We welcome written questions and comments. Speakers may not endorse candidates, discuss ballot propositions, advertise, or speak to issues which are before the council as a quasi-judicial matters or considered in public hearing. PowerPoint presentations, recordings, or props are not allowed. Banners and signs are allowed along the back wall of the chamber as long as they do not impede the view of the city council's work. Tonight's first speaker will be Mr. Christopher Ojo. If you could please come forward. Before you begin, if I could just verify that the countdown clock is working. Is it working? All right.
Yes, it is. Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Christopher Ojo. I reside in 15803 Joyce Lane in Laurel, Maryland. Friday, the commercial space that I rent was closed by the city building official Hamlet with no notice at all. My landlord, of course, was notified a day before. My locks on the building were broken and replaced without due process, and the keys were given to the landlord. The basis of this was provided in a letter that was handed to the landlord. Many of the allegations in this letter are inaccurate. No facts were provided to support this allegation. To give a context, I've rented 23 C Street for almost 4 years now for a recording studio in the basement, comedy club in the main level. Because of the time it has taken me to put all of this together, I got a use of occupancy permit, which is number 2024425 for No San Joe's Comedy Club in March. The comedy club space has been used very little due to lack of liquor license, so I have not been able to open to the public. When I started several years ago, I was advised by the Director of Economic Development, Robert Love, that this area was suitable for the business. I applied for liquor license. The landlord was in support. Everybody was in support, and I was rejected because he was not recognized by the city, by the county and the state. I worked with the city and the 21st delegation to get the law changed, and the governor signed the law. When the law was signed, I received my use of occupancy permit in March. I passed the city inspection. The city is now saying that I failed. The same inspection they are saying that I failed. Now, nothing has changed since I got my permit. I started the comedy club with selling no liquor, which provided not success. I decided to take a loss and just write it out because the landlord decided he wasn't going to sign for me to get liquor license anymore because I won't rent extra space. Now, on the weekend of July 4th, during a listening party, because I started having just private listening parties as at when I have those, there was a fighting across the street on Main Street. Despite the fighting has nothing to do with my business, the police came to my location, forcefully got into my building, asking why people were around. I said, this is a private building, a private business. We're having a private listening party. I asked the police for a report. They said they were going to give me a report. There was nothing to that effect. On Friday, when I was homesick, I got called that my business was being sealed. I rushed to the location. There was no pre-notice. I have a valid use of occupancy that was given. I am not operating an adult dance hall. I have allowed people from my community, the African community, to use my space for private event. There's not been any ticketed event. There's not been any event that was sold. I have not sold any food or liquor to anybody. We are not cooking food, so I don't need a
Thank you very much, Mitch.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ojo. It appears that you have written comments. If you would like to give those to the clerk,
Yes.
she'll be able to give those to the rest of the council. We appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Mr. Jeremy Smith.
Hello, I am Jeremy Smith, and my address is 8301 Ashford Boulevard, apartment 620 here in Laurel, Maryland, 20707. So I've moved here back in 2016 after graduating college, and I love Laurel. I think it's a great place to live, great place to work. I really like the idea that we are an inclusive city. I think that's an important idea and an important concept. And I just want to say that it is very important to me that politicians who represent me think that it would be constitutional for a woman to be the president, and I would be extraordinarily disappointed to find out if anyone did not think that that was the case. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker of the evening is Ms. Georgina Eiffel.
Reading glasses. My name is, excuse me. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Georgina Eiffel, and I reside at 8231 North Lake Court in Laurel, Maryland. Just want to preface before reading this statement. I had written this after having conversations with a few of you with respects to the meeting etiquette here and the time limit, and it was nice to hear the introduction this morning and the imposing of certain rules and at least guidelines as to how we will be engaging. Now I'll read my statement. I want to start by thanking the City Council for taking into consideration my recommendation of extending the time for public speakers during these meetings. It recognizes and supports statements of encouragement to constituents that you indeed want to hear from them through your willingness of giving them ample time to do so. Public speaking and expressing one's views or concerns is something that may not come naturally for so many. Standing here at this microphone, our voices may crack, we might begin to perspire, find it difficult to make eye contact, lose our train of thought, or nervously, without intent, misspeak about something. Knowing this, and regardless of it, we are willing to endure these physical, verbal, and physiological effects so that our voices and concerns could be heard. That is the reason I stand here today with a plea to you, the elected council, to ensure when we do so, we are treated with dignity and respect. I am asking this because on more than one occasion, the mayor has chosen to end these meetings by stating, and I'm quoting, "A lot of things have been said tonight, a lot of things that aren't true. But we can't control what people say when they come up here and speak for their 3 minutes." It was even reported in the latest edition of the Voices of Laurel, these statements. In essence, he was calling speakers liars without any specificity. Being that I was a speaker at each one of these meetings in which these closing statements were made, I was offended. To make such statements without providing any substance to the speakers, council, or general public as to the identity of these proposed liars and the lies that they were told is reprehensible. Such defamatory, deplorable statements of inference should not meet your standards for meeting etiquette. Whereas I can agree.
Thank you very much, Ms. Eiffel.
I just want one sentence left.
You have your written statements. If you could please give
Yes.
those to the clerk. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak before general public hearing that is not signed up to speak? Hearing none, I will close the general public hearing at 6:38 PM. Moving on to agenda item number 8, consideration of a leasing agreement for Bigbelly compost bins for multifamily compost collection. I would like to turn this over to the mayor so that he may read this into the record.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, council, for your questions, your concerns about this Bigbelly. We still doing more research with the single-family homes and also with the townhouses. So we feel it's better to get all the research together and then bring this proposal, this bid recommendation back to the council. We have all the information for single-family homes, the townhomes, and the condominiums. We believe that that's the best way to proceed. So I'm pulling this recommendation from the bid right now until further notice.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to agenda item number 9, introduction and first public hearing of ordinance number 2028, an ordinance amending the general operating budget and capital improvement program of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland for the fiscal year July 1, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and providing an effective date. Director Saylor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mayor Sydnor, and council members. As we discussed at the work session, this is the fourth amendment for the FY 2024 budget. This is an increase on the operating side of $3,494,679. Of that, $2,681,470 are the year's use of the ARPA funds. We've also taken some savings to provide an additional city contribution to the pension plans of $250,000, as well as other savings which are proposed to be transferred to the capital improvement program to provide funding of $738,007 for environmental programs, citywide furniture replacements, park improvements, sidewalk improvements, C Street repaving, and the Van Duzen Road Improvement Project. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Director Saylor. This agenda item was on the special work session that was held this evening at 5:30 PM. I will open the general public hearing at 6:41 PM. We do have one person signed up to speak on this. Again, the same rules from general public hearing will apply with a 3-minute time limit. If you could come forward and please state your name and address for the record. Our speaker for this evening is Ms. Georgina Eiffel.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Georgina Eiffel, and I reside at 8231 North Lake Court in Laurel, Maryland. This evening, I did have an opportunity to watch a portion of the working session in which the amendments to our FY24 budget was being presented. I did have a meeting that ran over, so I did not catch the first few minutes. I was very curious as to what Ordinance 2028 was addressing. One of the things that I was looking for, and maybe I missed during that time frame, was something that I had been asking about for some time, which happened to have been the FY24 budget agenda item for collective bargaining, in which we budgeted $15,000. I did not know if earlier it was spoken to exactly where we end up obtaining the additional funds, where the transfer came from. So I will go back and try to hear the beginning of the meeting and/or a response that will come from my standing here today from the council president. But one of my biggest concerns is I started to receive my Public of Information Act information that I requested with respects to Jackson Lewis. Jackson Lewis was the sole firm that was sought by the city to represent the city with respects to negotiations of the DPW contract. One of the things that I learned is, again, we budgeted $15,000, but as I am here speaking to you now, I'm looking at the very first invoice that came in from Jackson Lewis, and it is totaling $64,781. To date, I have received invoices and the city checks totaling over $87,000 for something that we budgeted $15,000 for. I've had discussions with some of you in the past with respects to, as things go over an expected amount, and I think it was between $30,000 or $50,000, may have been increased to $50,000 during COVID. Prior to that was $30,000. But again, my concern is, and what I'm looking to obtain is, where did the funds come from to cover this when we under budgeted $15,000, and moving forward, if for FY25, we're budgeting for $25,000. That will include labor negotiations, not only for DPW, but also for our Fraternal Order of Police. So are we adequately budgeting the $25,000, or will there be a need to transfer later on in the year or do an amended budget? And I have no written statements for that, but you can respond at your earliest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Eiffel. Is there anyone else wishing to speak on agenda item number 9? Seeing none, I will close the general public hearing at 6:44 PM. Director Saylor, can you, for the public and those at home, can you please give a brief background of why we need to do this every year? This is pretty common for us to pass this cleanup ordinance, but if you could just kind of, in a nutshell, sum it up for us.
Yes, sir. So we have taken some unanticipated revenue, some savings in some of our expenditure accounts. We had some significant repairs to HVAC systems, the boiler at the Goody House, for which we needed transfers beyond the capacity of those individual facility budgets. So we're able to transfer funds in order that those department budgets are not over budget. The budget is adopted at the department total level, and so any transfers between departments require that we do the ordinance to formalize those transfers, mostly between Parks and Recreation departments and Public Works departments. And we were able to take some of those revenues, those unanticipated revenues, and savings from employee insurance to make an additional contribution to the pension plan, which is something that we've been doing for a number of years. Over the course of the last 20 years, we've been able to transfer about $4 million to the pension plans, in addition to what the actuaries are recommending that we transfer. So we've been budgeting what the actuaries tell us to make the transfer, but when we do have additional funds, it's important to make additional transfers when possible, and to make transfers to the capital improvement program so that we can pay for projects without taking on additional debt, although we're perfectly fine to do so. But that's where we are.
So essentially, we're just balancing the books from last year, making the expenditures and the revenues match so that it's all zero and equal.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This was heard at tonight's work session. Are there any further questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, this agenda item will be placed on the special council meeting of the Mayor and City Council held next Monday, July 29th at 6 p.m. virtually. With no further business before the Mayor and City Council, this meeting is adjourned.